almost an unbreakable bond. It just seems that even though, like you just mentioned, we seem to get together for the weddings, the funerals, the birthdays, things like that. But even though we don't see each other as much as we would like to socially in gatherings like this, we have that bond that we're always there. And that's what my family means to me, is that we're always there for each other. And, I have a very strong connection to all of them.
Tell me some more about that.
It's a little difficult, but we, as far as Dominic and Ninette and Jackie and Rosette, we all live on Long Island, of course. I don't see them as much as I would like to. The few times a year that we do, we seem to enjoy each other's company. We have a good time together. I have cousins on my wife's side of the family and in-laws on that side who it's almost the same feeling, and it's just great that we have those relationships.
If I were to ask you for an adjective, actually I'm going to ask you for 5 of them.
Oh,
5 words that describe the Marino family. One of them I know is loyalty. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that one.
they're very loyal. They're very loyal, and you can call on them for anything. They're always there for us, and I like to think I am there for them as well, whenever or for whatever it is, and it means a lot that we have that we share that bond. That it's there's a lot of memories over the years that I remember.
And another word for your family?
Stubbornness. We can be a little stubborn at times,
Tell me about
and
that.
that's okay. Nothing in particular. Just that's how we're made. That's how we are made. Maybe it's the Italian trait or what, but we can be stubborn at times, and but we don't let it get in the way of anything else. We don't let it get in the way of anything.
But, a lot of people have also characterized the family as being incredibly hard workers.
Yes, yes, that is very true. And that, I think, goes to all sides of the families, whether it's the Marinos, the Costas, the Rapisardis, the DiPrimas. We all come from working hard to achieve what we want. And I know, personally speaking, I was raised that way. You work hard and you will get what you want. And I look at my cousin Dominic, who worked extremely hard to become a veterinarian, and Uncle Lenny, the same thing. He was a pediatrician. He's retired today. But everybody worked and strived for what they wanted and achieved those goals.
Another word that's come up over and over again is generous.
Yes, yes.
Tell me more about that.
Again, I think that's throughout all the families. I think we are all in different ways, maybe. Some of us monetarily, some of us just with whatever anybody needs, whether it's the physical end of it, whatever. But we all will never hesitate to help the other out. One thing I remember is I was at my aunt and uncle's house one time, and I got chased by the neighbor's dog who bit me on the back of the leg. I thought I was ripped from shreds, but it was just a little drop of a blood, and my Aunt Jane licked her finger and just wiped it off and said, "Go play, you're fine." I thought it was major trauma, but yeah, it sounds silly. I just have a lot of those types of memories, and they're great. They're really great.
Tell me another one.
I remember my cousin Ninette coming to my house for the winter breaks at school, and we probably frequented a few places we shouldn't have been at the time, but my mother kept us on the straight and narrow, that's for sure. She always made sure that we were home on time, and even when we tried to get around those rules, it was it was instilled we better be there. But it was great growing up over there. It was great.
Is there another story you can share about getting together?
Well, like I said before, the holiday times when there must have been 30 people sometimes at that house. And from all the kids playing down in the basement, I was a kid at the time, and my dad was there, and it was just being with everybody. It wasn't anything in particular that had to take place or happen, or it was really just being with everybody. And I don't know if that makes a lot of sense or not, but I always hold those things close, that we were there with each other and playing different games and listening to stories that didn't make sense to us from our parents at the time, but they're great memories. They really are. Now as I get older and I have children of my own, those times meant a lot. They meant a lot. I hope it's the beginning of keeping everybody closer together to make more time. I think too often we get caught up in our daily lives and we don't take the time to just get together because. And I see it in my son. My son Dennis is here today. Unfortunately, my girls weren't able to make it, but he sees cousins that he has not seen in quite some time. And I think it's just hopefully they continue to keep in contact with each other. And I personally am guilty of getting caught up in the daily routines, but I did make a promise to myself that I would like to contact my cousins and just socially get together more often, and I plan to be the first to say, everybody come over to my house, and hopefully not in the too distant future.
Have you been to Italy?
I have never been to Italy.
You've never been to Italy?
I have never been to Italy.
Not a Marino.
I'm not a Marino, no. I am a Costa. My dad, Jimmy, is from Italy. He came from Italy as a young boy. And I always did want to go, and I have not, but I do intend to do that someday. Because I remember my dad telling me things. I hear it's different today, of course, but still, I'd like to make that put it in the list, And I know my family would like to do that as well. So hopefully, over the next couple of years, we could plan that.
If there was one family tradition, a special dinner, something that characterized the family, something that you are most fond and appreciative of.
The 7-course meals in the holiday times.
Tell me about
I
that.
remember them like it was yesterday. At my Aunt Jane and Uncle Lenny's home, they had the big home, and we could seem like there were tons of people there, and we just ate, and from pasta to turkey to nuts and cakes and everything in between. And it was so enjoyable just watching everybody be together. And unfortunately, a lot of them are no longer with us today. But and then, of course, most of the men at the time couldn't breathe after dinner because there was so much food. But it was enjoyable. I remember those days, and not only for the food, but just being together, all of us. And I still hold those memories, and I think of those at all these holidays. Yeah. Good days, good days.
If there was one trait that you associate with them that you could pass down to your family, that you would nourish and cherish, what would it be?
It's just love, basically. That regardless of what happens, or you don't have to be with each other every day, but they are your family. They come first and foremost. And you have to be there for each other, always, always. And no matter what. That's just how it is. And I try and teach that to my own children. And I hope it rubs off. I hope it rubs off.
Tell me more about that.
Well, like I said earlier, I know I can call on any member of my family in times of need or anything, and I feel they can count on me as well for those things. But the kids, I don't think, see that as much right now. And as they get older, I think they will. But they need to know that they have to be there for each other. And I think we're on the right track. I see all my cousins' children who are in the same age bracket as my children, and they all seem to be brought up basically with the same values, and I think we're on the right track.
Is there another story you can share about getting together?
Well, like I said before, the holiday times when there must have been 30 people sometimes at that house, and from all the kids playing down in the basement. I was a kid at the time, and my dad was there, and it was just being with everybody. It wasn't anything in particular that had to take place or happen, or it was really just being with everybody. And I don't know if that makes a lot of sense or not, but I always hold those things close, that we were there with each other and playing different games and listening to stories that didn't make sense to us from our parents at the time, but they're great memories. They really are. Now as I get older and I have children of my own, those times meant a lot. They meant a lot.
Now, do you think the stories that you're telling me now won't make sense to them?
I don't know. I think it's somewhat unfortunate that kids today, the family gatherings, and I'm saying kids in general in society, being with family almost is second place. They'd rather be with their friends or whatnot. I enjoyed being with my family on both sides of, whether it's my mom's side or my dad's side. I enjoyed getting together with family. I really did. And I'm glad I did that at the time. But like I said, too many times kids, the family can wait. I'm going with my buddies. But it seems that our children, we do take them with us. We don't give them the option so much. If they want to come out, we bring them, and they're glad that they've come, And I look at all these kids here today. They're having a great time playing bocce ball and whatnot. And it seems everybody's really enjoying themselves. Yeah.
Well, part of our belief, part of our mission is if we can record these stories, make them accessible,
Right.
put them on a family website, put them on a private channel at YouTube,
Okay.
that this is what the kids are into these days.
They see that. Yeah.
And in some ways it's easier to, quote, talk to them that way
That way.
than to actually sit down and
Face to face.
sit and talk with them.
Very
So
true.
that's what we're doing here
Very
today.
true. Yes.
And I think everything you've just told me is going to be a great contribution. So.
I hope so. It's we don't talk to our children enough today, in general, and I like telling my kids stories of when I grew up and how times were. They weren't always the best, but I appreciated what I had, and we enjoyed the things that we did have. We didn't take anything for granted when it came to that. But my kids are on the right track. My cousin's kids are on the right track. We've had nobody who's been in trouble, or I have to say I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed with my family, and I hope it continues.